All across America, on any given night, there are more than 610,000 people experiencing homelessness, and more than 75% are concentrated in the urban areas.
KEZI 9 News reporter Nha Nguyen took a closer look at the issue in our area and joins us live in the studio tonight with her special investigation. Nha?
Homelessness is an issue at the forefront of many public government debates in Eugene, so to get a better understanding of the situation, we decided to look at how other cities are handling homelessness. Searching for signs of homelessness in Eugene, one needs not go far. Panhandlers seemingly stand guard at just about every corner. On any given night in the state of Oregon, close to 16,000 people have no place to call their own. Of that, roughly 2,000 are in Lane County.
No, I don't think it's unique to us. It's all over the country. It's all over our state. It's a problem that's being faced. And if you read the news in almost any community in America now, they're struggling with this issue.
Could you guys pull from the middle of the hut that way?
Lane County spends about $8.3 million a year, 2.1 of which comes from the city of Eugene, to fund a variety of homeless and sheltering services like the city car camping program, and most recently, rest stops. But in the middle of budget crisis, the money spent or not spent on homeless services is often scrutinized.
But you have a lot of people feeling like that they're there because they deserve it, because they failed at life, because they aren't doing enough to help themselves.
This fence is a weapon used against the poor.
Are we doing enough or too much?
Let people sleep.
For those out on the streets. What does homelessness look like in other places? So up the I-5 corridor, just 4 hours north, we drove to the city of Olympia, Washington. In Thurston County's last homeless count, 603. About the third of the number in Lane County. In terms of money spent on services, about $4.8 million comes from the county and roughly $421,000 from the city. Again, about a third of the amount for the city of Eugene. While its population is also only about a third of the size of Eugene's, there are some similarities. Climate, the university environment, the politics.
I also think that there is a phenomena where homeless people will migrate to the largest liberal city in any particular region. And it makes sense. That's where the shelters are concentrated, that's where the services are concentrated, that's where you have liberal city councils who are inclined to fund programs that provide support for folks that are dependent.
While there aren't big campsites, it's not that they never existed. Quixote Village was one not long ago, transformed into what it is now through private and public funding. While many look to the government to deal with the issue, many say efforts can't all be focused there.
We have to pave the streets, we have to provide police services and fire services, we have to issue building permits, so there are things to be balanced.
I would say that a component of what we have in Olympia that could be compelling across the country is public-private partnerships that have developed in different areas.
County and city officials, along with local service providers, say it's growing partnerships and constant conversation that has likely helped decrease their homeless population by 12% over the last year. But though there's some progress, stigmas remain.
I've really seen homelessness as an issue divide communities, unfortunately. Good providers, well-meaning providers, are looked at suspiciously as if they're enabling people who are homeless, and not at all.
And even in places like Salt Lake City, Utah, praised for its eradication of chronic and veteran homelessness, homelessness still exists.
All the communities struggle with this issue. I know you talk to individual communities and they have their war stories. And we're not perfect in Salt Lake City.
More than $20 million was spent in Salt Lake County, close to $1 million in Salt Lake City. In Salt Lake County's last count, there were 2,133 homeless people, most of which are concentrated in Salt Lake City. So though Salt Lake County is much larger than Lane County, at around 189,000, Salt Lake City's population is comparable to Eugene's. Both city and state are 100% in support of the Housing First model, believing that getting the unsheltered sheltered and then providing needed services is the way to go.
I think something that makes Salt Lake County service providers unique is the fact that we are we really are reliant upon each other, which is, one step further than being collaborative.
All three cities agreed. Their connections were key to any sort of success. So is Eugene's situation really that different? The Housing First model is not unheard of, but it doesn't come cheap.
We're all trying to be innovative, share information, try things, and see if we can do better for maintaining the livability of our communities and helping people who are going through a very difficult time.
And the big question remains, how can we solve homelessness?
So we always say housing is the cure for homelessness. It is the only cure for homelessness. There's nothing, you can offer someone who's on the street and in crisis and in a chaotic, even shelter situation. There's nothing you can offer that person that's going to provide immediate stability and immediate support that they need for the long term.
Can we really solve homelessness?
A lot of times people look for the simple fixes for complex problems, and sometimes some of the solutions are kind of simple, but homelessness is not an easy problem. It isn't just one person who's homeless 603 times, as we found in our homeless census. It's that 603 people had different circumstances that drove them into homelessness.
For some people, they've got illnesses or disabilities that are so great that they will never be able to be totally independent, and they will need the society's help. And that's how we run a civil society, is to help those who cannot do it on their own. So we're going to need a variety of resources, a variety of techniques.
I think we need to stop blaming each other and pointing fingers on homelessness. I think the time has come where we've spent too much time doing that. I think we need to move forward and realize that everybody needs support.
And no matter which city you turn to, finding the right support, the solution can be as diverse as the people it's intended to help.
So now, how do city leaders in Eugene feel about the Housing First model?
Well, all the cities we talk to, including Eugene, are very much in support of it. They understand that it makes sense. In some ways, providing a home is how you end homelessness, but there are a lot of other issues I have to deal with, and it is expensive. So right now, actually, Lane County, who actually writes a lot of the grants, is in the process of requesting grant money to see if they can get housing like that started, and they have a good history and track record of leveraging every dollar. I think the ratio is 1 to 10. So hopefully if we get that money, it'll go far.
Not a simple solution.
Not at all.
All right, great report. Thank you so much.